Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV. And with me tonight, I have a wonderful panel. Usual suspects tonight. We have Mr. Nick Commando. Hey, Nick, welcome back.
Gabagool.
Yes, yes. And of course, Mr. Matt Roran. Welcome back, Matt.
Hello.
Ooh,
I'm here.
Are you here? Are you here? Oh, all right. I want to just start off talking about what we're watching this week. Any TV shows, movies that you're watching at this time?
No, I'm just rewatching Everybody Loves Raymond, but that's it.
Okay, that's a good falling to sleep show. Mine right now, I mentioned it last week, is Mad About You. I don't know why. I'm just a fan of neurotic, Paul Reiser.
I'm a huge fan of Paul Reiser.
He's so good.
Huge fan.
So good. And, he's done so much great stuff before and after.
I always get so excited whenever he's in a bit part in a movie.
Yeah.
Or I get so excited.
And he looks so different in the Kaminsky method.
Yeah.
So
I would just like to call foul on the concept that Everybody Loves Raymond is a good falling asleep show. I can't sleep when I watch that show.
Oh, yeah, you want to just stay
funny.
up.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, there are a lot of shows out there for me. Seinfeld for one. Since I've seen
things I've seen a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I just redid The Good Place for kind of my go to sleep show, because I'm like, all right, this is third time watching it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay,
yeah, I'm in the middle of that too. Also, of course, for purposes of this episode, The Sopranos. Fantastic show. I'm only on episode 5. I'm ashamed, but good thing the movie's a prequel, so I didn't have to do a lot of homework.
Oh yeah.
And lastly, I just got into it this past weekend rather, the morning show with Jennifer Aniston,
nice.
Reese Witherspoon, and Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Basically, it's about a fictional news show, a morning news show, where Steve Carell's character basically gets involved in the Me Too movement, but because he's had some extramarital affairs with some young ladies, and now he's basically fired from that show. They are bringing in Reese Witherspoon, who is the replacement, and it's just all the drama behind that show and making that show. So it's a really interesting look at that behind the scenes world. So nice. Yeah, I'm a fan so far.
Cool. Then it's on Apple.
It's an Apple TV. Nice. Yeah, Apple TV original, Apple TV Plus. But check out the morning show. So, Matt, you're always watching something.
Speaking of at the Apple TV, I just started watching Mythic Quest.
Okay.
Which is
that Bill Hader?
It's Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day created it.
Okay.
From It's Always
Sunny.
Mac. Yeah. So Mac is the star of the show. He's a video game designer.
Okay.
So it's basically about his office where they, work on this video game.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Sounds kind of like Grandma's Boy. They work.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
It's funny because some of the stuff in it, they had I guess this came out pre-COVID, because the 11th episode or 10th episode of the first season is the Zoom episode, because every TV show got hit with the Zoom episode.
Yeah.
So it was pre-COVID, but they have basically one of the premises of one of the episodes is pretty much the concept of Free Guy.
Okay.
Where it's one of the non-playable characters is doing stuff, and they're killing everybody, and they're like, what?
Wow. So what network station is this?
Apple.
Oh, it's Apple.
It's Apple, yeah.
Okay.
So I've been watching that, and then just a lot of random stuff. Yeah.
Now, any obscure old movies, 80s, 90s?
That I've been watching lately.
Yes.
I feel like I've lately just been watching kind of stuff from the last couple of years.
Okay.
That I missed or just felt like rewatching.
Cool. And of course, ever since Prisoners of the Ghostland, I've been revisiting Mr. Nicolas Cage's filmography. Yes. And it's like an endless bottomless pit of entertainment.
And I just brought him a a DVD copy of was the Humanity Bureau, which I found at Dollar Tree. It was a movie I never heard of. Nicolas Cage, $1, couldn't pass it up. Saw it again, got one for Randy.
All right, guys, so let's just jump into our first review. And this is obviously a very popular one. And I mentioned The Sopranos just now, just a few minutes ago. The Many Saints of Newark, which is a prequel movie to the show, which follows young Anthony Soprano, Tony. Basically, he's following his uncle around. Is it really his uncle, or they just call him uncle? I
think he's like
his
uncle by marriage.
Yeah, it's like the Italian uncle.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's Dicky Moltisanti, played by Alessandro Nivola, who I just know from Face Off and Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, he was Nicolas Cage's brother.
Yeah, with the shoelace. Remember? But he's fantastic in this. He's the star.
Bollocks Troy.
How come you can never tie a shoelace right? Okay. But yeah, he's the star. And I was actually expecting more of young Tony Soprano. I wanted so much more of his character, who's actually played by Michael Gandolfini. James Gandolfini's real life son. Which is kind of eerie, kind of strange. But you know what? It works really well.
I mean, he came off so much like Tony in so many ways. Like expressions he made. Like it was kind of like I almost started crying like several times during the movie because it just like felt so right.
He had the mannerisms, and even he was like hunched over. Like it was kind of scary. But Nick Commando, what do you think of the film?
I really don't see how you could have any legitimate critique of the film, to be perfectly honest. I really don't. I think it's a very, very good film. I don't think there's any I read a lot of headlines for reviews, and I read one full review, and everything is like, oh well, it's not long enough. It's not like it's its own thing. When you make a prequel, or like a similar thing happened when El Camino came out, the Breaking Bad movie.
I want to get into that.
Everybody wanted it to be. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's like watching a 2-hour Breaking Bad episode." Well, that's the point. That's the point. It's telling the story of a major Breaking Bad character and what happens to him after the events of Breaking Bad. This was its own thing, and I think if you really appreciate the show and you appreciate the characters, I don't think there's a single bad performance in this film. I don't think the only cartoonish part of it was John Magaro as Silvio, but Silvio's a cartoon.
I'm like watching it, and I'm like, it's so bad, but Steven Van Zandt's acting is so bad that this guy is actually perfect.
Well, what's funny too is John Magaro worked on David Chase's other film, Not Fade Away. And Steven Van Zandt did all the music for that. So John Magaro spent a lot of time with Steven Van Zandt learning to play drums. They had to learn their own instrument.
Oh, he nailed it. He really did.
He got everything down about the Silvio character, which, by the way, I didn't realize Silvio was that much older than Tony.
Same here. Half him and Pussy. I was like, oh, I didn't realize they were that much older.
I thought it was like Silvio's father. I thought he was Silvio Dante Jr.
Like Paulie makes sense.
Yeah, like Paulie. Billy Magnuson was so good as Paulie.
Yeah, oh my God.
So good as Paulie. Paulie is because Paulie is such a unique character in the way he says things and does things. And for Billy Mack, like when they see the TV shop and he looks out the window, he goes with the hand, with the pinky. He's pointing at something, he's got the pinky sticking out. It was just so good.
But you know what?
When Farmiga as Olivia, oh my God!
When it comes to casting choices, though, I don't think it got any better than Corey Stoll.
Oh my God!
As Uncle Junior.
Corey Stoll,
perfect.
Him and Vera Farmiga, were hands down the two best cast characters.
they nailed the essence of the character.
Yeah.
Like Junior deep down is just the disappointment.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about it, he's the disappointment. And Corey Stoll kind of nails like the slight resentment, the feeling of he doesn't get his due, the just everything is kind of negative. You know, Vera Farmiga gets that misery of Livia, where she simultaneously loves and hates the life that she's living that she lives with Johnny and having the kids. Like clearly somebody that never should have been a mother, and just nails that character. John Bernthal with Johnny Soprano with just like the repressed rage and anger. Yeah. And Michael Gandolfini too, like I listened to an interview today with him, and he talked about how anger comes very easily for him, and he really nails those parts of the character. But even like the subtleties of it, like just the sadness, the things that the adult Tony doesn't ever want to acknowledge about himself.
Yeah.
Right.
He really nails with like subtlety, and it's not right in your face, but it's right there. And
it's great because he's such an innocent character, and it's so crazy to think that in 20 years he'd become this like huge mob boss with all this repressed rage and emotion.
It's very similar to kind of the Tony Blundetto, Tony Soprano arc in the show, because Tony Blundetto, who Steve Buscemi played, he gets out of prison and he tries to go straight, and that's kind of what Tony's doing in this film. Dickie is kind of trying to support him in the idea that he wants to go straight. He doesn't want to be part of their deal, and their relationship is clearly strained from it because Dickie doesn't understand why he couldn't do what Tony's doing. And that's very similar to Tony Soprano and Tony Blundetto in the show, because Tony kind of resents his cousin Steve Buscemi's character for almost the same exact reasons that Dickie kind of has issues with Tony wanting to go straight. And I honestly think that if Dickie stuck around and Dickie wasn't killed, I don't think we have Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
I think Tony Soprano is a byproduct of Dickie being killed.
Yep.
Which is not really a spoiler, Randy, because we know he got killed in the show too.
Right, because those who
didn't spoil anything.
Those who are watching, I am a Sopranos novice. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm only like a couple episodes into the first season, but I just want to ask you guys: how do you feel this movie? Does this movie do justice to the series?
I think it was incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so funny because I've talked to so many people in the last like 3 days who were like, it's garbage. It's absolutely terrible. And it's like they just wanted like a Tony Soprano hand job. They just wanted to be like gratified, like, and it's like it wasn't a Tony Soprano movie. It was that's the thing.
It was, yeah.
Moltisanti is Italian for many saints.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when the film is called The Many Saints of Newark, it's literally saying this movie's about the Moltisantis.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that it was narrated by Christopher.
That was such a beautiful touch.
Because he's hands down my favorite character from the TV show.
And the last line of the film, that was so good.
Yeah,
because I actually saw it in theaters. I went and watched.
Same here. I went to the theater.
Like, you know what? I can watch it on HBO Max if I want to watch it again. I'm seeing this in the theater. I have to do this. And the big laugh that came in the theater was when they were talking about Tony making varsity playing football, and Junior just going, he doesn't have the makings of a varsity athlete. Because that was a recurring trope on the show.
Yeah.
See, and Junior would bring that up. Junior would bring that up at the most inopportune times, and Tony would just fly off the handle when Junior would say it.
It's great.
And it was just such a beautiful call. Like, to me, it had everything. It had every trope of a Sopranos thing. Yeah. It had a confirmation party. It had satriales. It had people being killed. It had violence.
All the characters that like you know, from the first few seasons that it's like, oh, I miss those guys. Like it's like it's like them as kids. And I mean, I just really, you know, it was cool because it's like real. I mean, really, it is like it is for like diehard fans. I mean, it's like
it's total, a love to me. It's a love letter to the Sopranos as a concept.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Everyone who hated it are people who like are casual fans, haven't really, you know, whatever. I mean, I've watched the show in its entirety at least 3 times. You know, most recently like about a year ago, and you know, I just you know, love everything about it, and like it was great to get this chunk of mythology. You know, it had answers to like all these like things you hear about.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh, like, you know, it's like
the big thing at the end, the big thing at the end where they kind of like rewrote the canon a little bit of the Sopranos. I was like, holy shit, that makes really, I'm sorry, Randy, I shouldn't have said that. Holy poop. I cursed. That makes so much sense because if you think about the character and you think about how they are in the show and how they are in this movie, it makes so much sense. And then it's kind of like, well, that's how Tony goes on the path he goes on. Because that guy doesn't care about Tony the way that Dickie does. He just sees Tony as a pawn, as somebody that he can manipulate. And that to me was the true genius of it. And on top of the fact that just David Chase is just a phenomenal writer. He doesn't give a shit about what any fans think. He doesn't care about what the fans want. He just wants to make a good thing. And that's what he goes out and does.
That's what a good artist, that's what a true artist does.
And I feel like we got so much like out of it for like the way that Tony treats AJ, the way that Tony treats Chris, like so much of it, like you could see from this film. And people complaining like there's not enough Tony in it. It's like, I mean, he's in 90% of the movie, but like,
it's also like there's nothing for Tony to do. He's not doing anything. He's in high school. He's in high school and he's just at the beginning of college. Like, and like back then, it's not as if he can just up and like, you know, text his uncle and say, where are you? Let's hang out. You know, like it was much easier back then to just hide these things from other people than it is now, or even when Tony's an adult. You know, like it's like you said it best, Matt. Like it's for the diehard fans, and I think anybody that isn't like a true fan of The Sopranos or hasn't watched it in a while, they just don't understand what they're watching to the right degree.
Well, I definitely get the brilliance is from just the few episodes I've seen from the movie. It's definitely clear that this is created by, you know, a true visionary.
I mean, it's hands down one of the best TV shows.
And
he signed a first look deal with Warner, so he might have there might be more stuff coming down than the Sopranos stuff.
Probably, hopefully, you know, we'll see. But I also want to mention
Liotta Jr. too. He was great.
And the whole cast, I can't think of a weak link.
The two actresses who played Janice, perfection.
God.
Also, I want to note the production design. I felt like I was in the 60s watching this movie. The cars, clothes.
I love the color scheme too.
Kind of washed out.
I guess that's cinematography or whatever it may be, but I love the color scheme. I love that they made it look like a period film, that it wasn't like, okay, we're in the 70s, but we've got all this technology. It was like, no, we're going to make it look like the colors of the time.
It kind of reminded me of The Irishman in that respect.
Oh yes, but 10 times better. Without really bad CGI old people in it.
The Irishman
and half the runtime,
a shorter runtime, that's for sure.
But
yeah, I was a fan of this. I was kind of worried going into it. It was going to be like sort of like a Goodfellas remake, but I think it stood on its own. It had enough originality to warrant its own thing. So yeah, kudos to the creative team.
Yeah, for you to enjoy this film, you just have to understand that it's its own thing.
Yeah,
you're going to get tropes of The Sopranos in it, but you're not going to get like you said, it's not going to be a gratuitous, Tony Soprano, blow my.
I mean, there's so many like things in there that had me just like like little nods and like I absolutely love like stuff like that where it's like the whole thing is an Easter egg. I love it.
Yeah,
and you know what? Sorry, Randy, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to acknowledge that the film is violent, but it's not gratuitous. Like there's not like extreme gore. It's kind of peppered throughout.
They nailed the violence level. I think.
They didn't hit you over the head with it.
They did it the same level, like what happens early on in the film. I thought that was probably the most violent aspect of it. I really don't think there was a lot of other really violent parts after that. Yeah. And Alessandro Nivola, if he doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, I may riot. Like you wanted him to succeed. You were rooting for him the whole film. He was really likable. You saw Christopher in him. You saw Christopher. There were scenes where you were like, Christopher. You saw it. And you just wanted him to succeed. And then at the end, when everything happens at the end, you're like, oh, it just hits you.
Yeah. And
that was called anticlimactic in the review I read. And I'm like, so just it coming out of nowhere is anticlimactic? Isn't that the kind of the fucking point?
Well, I also want to mention Ray Liotta.
He was so good too. Oh my god.
It was like he's been in a lot lately, but this was like the best I've seen Liotta in a while.
Very memorable.
I also enjoy that he doesn't try to do an accent at all. He just talks the way he talks. Because I'm expecting him to open his mouth, be like, "Hey, gabagool." Blah, blah.
He's just like, "I'm Ray Liotta."
Yeah.
Get me a Miles Davis record. Al Hurt. What the shit is this? It's not jazz.
I'm a jazz nut.
He's been that way.
Trumpet.
Yeah.
I don't eat dairy.
He's always been the same ever since Field of Dreams. I think that was the first time I saw him in a movie. He's had the same voice. He's never like pretended to be.
Does he do that in Goodfellas? Does he do that voice in Goodfellas?
So that's just
pretty much.
That's his natural.
As long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a good fella.
Pretty much.
Oh god, yeah, it was great. I watched Nivola interviewed by Colbert, and he actually won Best Actor at I think Toronto Film Festival for a movie that never came out.
Wow.
He's like I won this award for Best Actor, and then nobody ever got to see the movie.
Well, that's weird. That's a weird situation.
I was so good. Nobody ever wanted.
He stars in 13 movies that never came out.
Oh.
I was so good in this film. I was so good in this film. Nobody else gets to see it.
Yeah. And that's got to be like a record though. Like 13 movies that never came out. Like
they just in the vault.
They did. Yeah, they just did like the circuit and then like never got distribution.
Oh, that sucks.
But that's also the beauty of David Chase too. He's able to pull these guys out of kind of obscurity with all due respect to their careers. Like James Gandolfini, what did he do before Sopranos? I think the biggest thing he had was Get Shorty.
Thank you.
Yeah, Get Shorty, Analyze
True Romance.
He just played. I was just watching another 80s Disney movie, like late 80s Disney movie, where he was like the tough guy. Yeah, it's like.
That was his stereotype. That's
he was what he like. He's a Pretty Woman.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's like.
I honestly just remember Get Shorty and True Romance.
But it's like he has all these like bit parts and like all these.
Oh man, he was so good. Rest in peace, James.
Yeah, I mean, it was like getting like Enough Said. They were Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you got to see that movie. It's a romantic comedy.
Okay.
And it's like.
It's him. Wait, wasn't there one with him and Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
That's what I just said.
Did you say Julia Louis?
No, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, this is Julia Louis for something.
Yeah.
She's actually in a movie we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, but yeah. But no, that was like that was his last movie, I think.
No, he did a couple after that, but it was
that was like his last like nomination for something.
Yeah.
Because he was originally supposed to do The Night Of.
Yeah.
And he died right before they started filming, or I think they might have filmed some of it. He died. Wow. But he was also, a magnanimous person, not just in front of the camera, but behind it. And a lot of people that know him kind of said that like his role in Enough Said, that's about as close to how he was in real life.
I got to see this movie now.
Just a really incredibly nice person and very giving, very generous. And, I have never heard a single person when they were asked about him have a negative thing to say about him.
That's
like Michael Gandolfini wanting to take the role on is kind of a testament to, I think, how he was as a father, that you'd be willing to go back there.
Yeah, he said he rewatched the entire series and that it was a very intense process for him, Michael Gandolfini, to just see his dad.
He said there were certain parts of the show that were very difficult for him, like a lot of the stuff with Robert Eiler, he felt like was kind of Jim talking to him through AJ. And that was difficult for him, he said. But yeah, it was, and he's been friends with David Chase for a long time too.
Yeah. He was in we reviewed him. He was in Cherry.
Okay.
He was in
yeah. That was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Wow. So definitely a lot to digest right now, and I really want to go through all the seasons. How many seasons are there?
Six.
Okay.
Well, technically 7.
We're a 6.5.
Yeah, it's considered 6.5. But it's technically like the 6 seasons, like 25 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a definitive, like after episode 12, they start another set of episodes.
And since they did a prequel movie, I'm assuming that they don't want to touch the events after the series ended.
I don't. Well, I mean, that's like one of those things that I like.
Passed away.
Or are there spoilers in my question?
Yeah, I mean, it's like by the time you get to the end, who
there's
knows
a lot of debate.
I mean, I would like to see I'd like to see more movies like this where I want to see like a separate Pauly Walnuts movie.
Oh my God, that would be great.
I just love
develop over the course of the movie.
That the introduction where it's like he's doing his nails.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's Pauly. Like immediately, I'm like, it's Pauly.
Yeah. It's like he just knew what buttons to press for people to be like, yep, that's that guy. But yeah, the ending of the show is strongly debated as to what happens. People think he's dead. People think, nothing happens. People think that he died earlier in the 6th season when he was in the hospital. So, nobody really, but I don't think David Chase will ever go back there, because I think he, the way that I've always heard him describe it is like, this is all like a slice of life, day in the life type thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like how when they filmed The Office, the film crew was there for a reason every time. Kind of a similar thing. So like when the camera goes black, it's just like, well, that's the end of watching these events. Like he's still alive. He's living his life. It's just, there's nothing worth watching anymore.
Gotcha. Well, I, for one, I'm going to keep watching because the show is great.
Yeah, you got to finish it.
This movie is wonderful. I highly recommend it. I think it's unanimous that we would recommend this to people.
100%.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I definitely recommend watching The Sopranos if you haven't.
Yeah.
And then watching it.
Right. And so I just want to tell everybody, The Many Saints of Newark and The Sopranos, they're both streaming now on HBO Max. The film will only be on HBO Max for 1 month. But the film is also playing in theaters, so go check it out. I would go see it on the big screen because you guys.
It was a good experience.
It's a nice experience in the theater. It was definitely something that I was like, I want to see this in the theater.
That's cool.
But I would recommend watching the show first and then the film, because I think you appreciate the characters more.
I know. Yeah. I wish I could have binged the entire series, but time did not permit. But I will definitely check out episodes in the near future. But guys, I just want to do a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with more film reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Younger under the radar, and we've got 2 more films to discuss tonight. This one, it's kind of random, but it was actually pretty good. It's called Hester Street, and it's actually the re-release in 4K restoration. I thought it was great. I've never seen it before.
Yeah,
Matt,
I was actually surprised because I had never seen it.
Okay.
And also I'm like a huge fan of Carol Kane. I
Right.
mean, ever since I was a kid watching her on Taxi,
Yep.
and Princess Bride, Scrooge, I mean, Addams Family,
Yeah.
you name it. Like, I mean, even through today, she's still doing great work.
Yeah. And she was actually nominated for an Academy Award for this performance.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actress nomination back in '75.
But yeah,
76.
it was nice to see something I hadn't seen.
Yeah, I was curious about it.
Yeah.
And I thought the film looked great. It sounded great. It's in black and white. So heads up if you guys are if you're into that, if you're not into that, it's just a really
I mean, it definitely
film.
starts a little slow. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of takes a little while for it to start heating up.
Yeah.
But about halfway through, I was like really into it.
And speaking of Everybody Loves Raymond, we've got Doris Roberts in the movie.
And proof that she's kind of always been an old lady. Because like she was fairly young, I guess, when
maybe 40s,
in her 40s,
yeah,
but like totally is exactly the same.
20 years later, she's just has white hair.
But I mean, I
she's
guess
like probably 30 or 40 pounds lighter.
Peter Boyle.
Well, he was bald, so he looked the same for like 30 years.
Her on-screen husband from Everybody Loves Raymond. I've watched plenty of movies from the 60s where I'm like, damn, he was even old back then. Like Young Frankenstein, he's already old. I mean, he's in makeup, but and then I watched Joe and a couple other movies that he's in, and I'm like, man, he's just always been like,
that's him. Taxi Driver.
They were born old.
Yeah. Nick, I'm curious your thoughts on Hester Street.
I really didn't get through a ton of this. I really did not enjoy it, the beginning of it. And if I don't enjoy the beginning of it, I can't get past it. I did like seeing Doris Roberts in it. It just kind of was going over my head. I just kind of didn't really get it.
Yeah.
Which is more of a testament to me than it is the film. But from what you guys are saying, maybe I might have to give it another shot at some point.
Yeah, it's like I was watching it, and like the first like half hour to 40 minutes were like kind of like
Well,
I was like kind of like, am I gonna continue watching it?
I mean, it is an hour and a half. I think it's an hour and 28. And but it goes by kind of quick.
The last half I really liked. Once
actually, I liked when the middle when Carol Kane's character showed up.
Yeah, like when she shows up.
Like you felt the tension. Like like this can actually happen, and you can believe.
I like when she goes to the other guy or whatever, and he's just like, he knows a lot of girls. Like it's like okay.
The performances are fantastic. Honestly, I only know Carol Kane from the stuff you mentioned. Taxi, of course, Addams Family, Scrooged.
Yeah.
But she was fantastic. She was also in an episode of Seinfeld, actually.
Yeah. So, she was Seinfeld. I mean, she's great on Incredible Kimmy Schmidt. She's her landlord. Oh, she's incredible.
Yeah.
But
I think Taxi is her claim to fame.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I first saw her. Like on her and Kaufman, man.
Yeah, they're
what
perfect.
A team.
They're perfect together. Latka and Simka, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to mention, guys, that this film was actually selected by the United States Library of Congress in their National Film Registry. They award this to films that are deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So that's quite an honor. Like some of the greatest films ever made or make this list. And Hester Street of 1975 made the cut. So that's pretty cool. Nick, would you ever go back and finish the film?
Well, now I feel like an idiot. Based on the law, Library of Congress chose it as a significant
It's
film.
culturally significant.
It is.
Yeah, I'm an ape apparently.
Get with it.
Yeah, really. Oh my God.
But
it's weird because there's just there's stuff that people just rave about that are just generally loved, and I just watch it. I'm like, I don't get it.
Oh yeah.
I don't get it.
Everybody's got those. I mean,
Yeah.
There's plenty of movies where people always like, that's the best movie of all time. I'm like, what? Like, I've watched. I mean, I know it's one of those things where it's me. I've watched American Psycho like 15 times. Still really does not do anything for me.
I mean,
Donnie Darko took me like 15 times to watch before I was
Donnie
like,
Darko still gives me nightmares. I watched it once and I still don't sleep well if I think about it.
Like when it comes up to the top of my head, maybe Gattaca, beautiful movie.
Gattaca.
I watched Gattaca in my 10th grade biology class.
I actually,
That's cool.
I just rewatched.
Didn't understand it now. Probably don't understand it.
Came out.
Wow.
I did like it
now. Probably.
Yeah.
I liked it much more seeing it now than I did when it came out.
Visually, it's an amazing film.
Yeah.
And I like Ethan Hawke. Anyway, so yeah, I say see it to Hester Street. Nick, see it, skip it, or you finish seeing it.
I'm abstaining.
You're gonna ask the
from
guy
my
who
vote.
skipped it to see if
Yeah, would you recommend the first 20 minutes?
I don't recommend the first 20 minutes. Go on like IMDb and look up a synopsis of the first 20 minutes and then start at minute 21.
Pretty much, if you saw the first minute of it, you know the first 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Like nothing really happens in the first 20 minutes.
Pretty much. But I say see it if you're a Carol Kane enthusiast, or
a film enthusiast.
Or
I mean,
there you go too.
if you're into like turn of the century Jewish immigrant tales, this is for you.
And at the end credits, the very last thing, one of the last things they said in the credits was it was like the Jewish Museum in New York City was in favor of this film. They backed this
even
film.
the Jewish Museum of whatever. You heard him.
Yes.
Even the Jews like this movie.
Did you know that Jews like this movie?
Surprising, huh? All right. So that's Hester Street.
Jewish Siskel and Jewish Ebert gave it 2 Jewish thumbs up.
All right. So Hester Street is now screening at the Quad Cinema in New York City.
Oh, nice.
And also at the Newark in Los Angeles. I've never been to the Newark.
I've not. I've
heard
been to
of
LA
it.
since I was 16.
Oh,
so.
there we go. I think we need to go there soon. Let's do a road trip. I think that'd be fun. Rent a Winnebago. Nick, are you in?
Sure.
Cool.
I've slept in a Winnebago. I can do it.
Yeah. I love it.
Only if Lone Star is driving.
Oh, yeah. And can we
Barf.
eat a giant kibble?
Barf.
Barf. Can we just watch Spaceballs for the rest of the show?
Yes.
All right. All right. So our last film review of the evening. This is kind of a strange one, and I'm gonna try to describe its synopsis, but here we go. It's called Mayday.
Help is on the way. How many souls on board?
We don't have any souls.
Ma'am, can you beat me? Ma'am, we have no bearing. We are taking on water. We get man overboard. Mayday.
Nasty creatures.
You must be the new girl.
What is this? Where are we? Where we belong? Soon you'll be a whole new person. You never had a chance back there, Anna. Chance for what? A chance to win. Do you remember what happened to you before you came here? It wasn't a very good story. So I'm giving you a new one. Now.
A lot of girls get even when they get here.
Okay, girls, time to go.
Where are we going?
Hunting.
It feels like a nightmare. That's normal.
I don't belong here. I want to go back.
I'm tired
doing, bud? After everything I've given you, I made you into a hero. You made me into a psychopath. It's the same thing!
Mary. Alpha. Yankee. Delta. Alpha. Yankee.
You're a monster. We're all monsters.
And it's really, I guess it's about female empowerment. That's what I took away from the film. It's got Grace Van Patten as the lead. She's very good. I thought she was Shailene Woodley for a while.
Oh, she's so much better than Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, okay.
Shailene Woodley is a terrible actress.
Well, they look almost identical.
Yes, but one of them is a good actress.
That's true. That's true. The apple fell far from the tree. But yeah, Mayday. It was just so weird. I don't know if I love it or hate it, or maybe in between. I don't know. Mr. Roran, what was your take on that?
I mean, watching it, I immediately once she like crossed over into this other world, I was like, oh, so this is someone's attempt at David Lynch's Alice in Wonderland. Cool. And then of course, you have Juliette Lewis, who has only done movies and TV shows that are really, really weird for the past decade.
Yep.
If you see her name in a movie or a TV show, you're like, oh, this is gonna be like, all right, here we go. I mean, it's one of those things where the movie did nothing for me. I mean, the performances were good.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like I said, I'm a huge David Lynch fan. Like, he's like one of my favorite directors. So, and it's like he can do things like that and get away with it because they work.
Yeah.
A lot of people trying to do that kind of film don't often succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was beautifully shot, and I mean, I think script wise, the storyline didn't really come across as much as it.
I'll give you the visually stunning thing.
It was really like
every shot seemed like it was kind of like dusk. So they picked great moments during the day to shoot this thing.
Yeah, there were a lot of scenes reminding me of it's like a dark Wes Anderson where it's like it was like cartoony, but like Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, you had that vibe to it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like there are definitely elements of the movie I liked, but overall, at the end of the movie, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think that the filmmaker, she wrote and directed Karen Sinore. I think she tried a little too hard, a little overly ambitious with this.
I mean, I but I mean, kudos to her for trying. I mean, I enjoyed most of the aspects of the film,
right?
Except for the story. I think I found a little lacking. There was
a lot of different pieces that were appealing, but
I feel like they were just puzzle pieces. Missing.
They weren't glued together.
But
Mr. Commander, what was your take on Mayday?
Yeah, I didn't understand what was happening on my computer screen. I felt like I was watching a movie about a waitress. Then she was in a room and she was crying.
Right.
And then she was on an island with a hot guy. And I was like, when did this happen? She was just crying because somebody threw Eggs Benedict at her. What's going on? Fun fact, Grace Van Patten, the lead in this, her father is Tim Van Patten, who directed 20 episodes of The Sopranos.
Wow.
That's true. All connected.
That's cool.
This was another one. I think I got to about the 45-minute mark. And I was just like, I really don't understand what's happening. Like,
Nick, you must hate me.
No, I don't hate you. I don't hate
Hey,
you.
at least he got the Many Saints.
I genuinely love you because you exposed me to so many things that I would otherwise not seek out myself. So you actually exposed me to new experiences that I do end up strongly disliking, but I don't blame you for that. That's on it. It comes down to taste.
I'll take it as a compliment.
It helps us know more about ourselves.
Exactly.
When you show us things that you expose us to garbage we hate.
Exactly. Like what Matt said about David Lynch, right? So like the film did have a very surreal feel and tone to it.
Right.
But it also felt like it was trying too hard to be weird and surreal.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that's the worst.
It felt like to a degree the plot was very simplistic, where it was like, okay, this girl gets. It felt Alice in Wonderland to me.
It did. Yeah.
Like I felt like I was watching a crappy offshoot of Alice in Wonderland, where it was like, okay, so this girl's not happy with her life. Let's give her a hallucination. Where she feels like she's doing something, and by the end of it, she comes out empowered. The problem is, I didn't stick around long enough to see the part where she comes out empowered because I was like, "This is bad."
Well, you know what? Even though this movie does have parallels to Alice in Wonderland, this is a better Alice in Wonderland than Tim Burton's version, I think.
Really, I really did not think that Tim Burton's version of Alice in Wonderland was that bad.
Really, I have to revisit it. It was
I kind of like the sequel that he didn't do.
But he was the producer.
He was a producer.
Yeah,
okay. But
Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Was
that? Though, if you really think about it, though, like the concept of Alice in Wonderland is really pretty dumb.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like this girl just falls down a hole, effectively gets a concussion, and probably has brain damage.
Right.
Yep.
And while she's in this coma that nobody wants to say is a coma, she meets all these really interesting characters.
Right.
Like the concept itself is kind of silly. So when you add Tim Burton, who has this very specific look and tone and feel to what he wants to do, you're definitely going to have a polarizing product.
Right.
But back to the whole Mayday of it all.
Yes.
It's basically what you guys said. It was trying too hard.
Right.
To be this thing that it wasn't set up to be. You know, it's kind of like the female Ghostbusters film. It was trying too hard to be a funny Ghostbusters.
It could have easily worked, but they just like
went so far the other way. Yeah.
Too hard, you know. It should have just had its own legs and gone off and did its thing.
But this movie, Mayday is a very original feel to it.
I mean, honestly, like I felt like I said, like it feels like David Lynch's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
It felt to me like, I don't know, like the third season of Twin Peaks that was on Showtime. It felt like there's this whole element in the beginning where it's like Cooper like squeezing through holes and pipes and walls and sockets and whatever. And it really felt like somebody watched that third season of Twin Peaks and was like, I'm going to make an Alice in Wonderland movie based on this. And it was like, all right.
And you know what? I want to go back to the style and tone of this. It kind of reminds me a little bit. Did you guys see Wendy? Did we?
We
reviewed that.
Wendy's,
we reviewed that together.
I love Wendy's. The Baconator's delicious.
Yes. Perfect. No.
Yes.
But that movie also, it focused on young kids basically escaping.
That was a very well-made movie.
That was a Peter Pan metaphor. But that was so much better.
It had a good storyline based on a storyline.
Like all these,
had like cool ideas, and like this was just kind of a lot of like half ideas.
Right.
I mean, I feel like this movie was 1,000 half ideas.
So all these movies about young kids trying to escape reality, it's kind of a strange thing.
The other thing too, I think that, because if you really think about it, Hollywood has no original ideas. So when something like this comes along, it's like you almost have to really just beat a dead horse with it at how weird and different and visionary it's going to be. Because I think otherwise it's not going to get made.
Yeah.
Like I think sometimes you almost have to be too cute to get it made, because otherwise nobody's going to take it seriously. It's this weird catch-22, I think, that happens with a lot of films where it has to be highfalutin, it has to be visionary, it has to be this thing that it's very clearly not, because otherwise nobody's going to want to spend the money on it.
Yeah.
Everybody today has to feel like they're putting their money into something that is going to be the next Avatar or the next whatever.
Well, this is definitely not Avatar 2.
You know, people putting their money into the next Avatar.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's been going on for years.
Right.
The next 5.
Now,
where are they already? Come on.
This is a type of movie that, older couples, maybe in their 50s, 60s, will go check out on a Saturday night.
They'll go see it at a place like Cinema Arts Center.
Yeah.
And then they'll come out and they'll complain to someone like me and tell them that they want their money back and they fucking hated it.
I mean, I watched the trailer is very good, actually. In some ways, it's better than the actual movie.
Half the time,
do you give refunds if somebody
editor
says,
makes a great trailer.
Do you give refunds if somebody says they don't like the movie? Is that a legitimate reason? Okay.
It doesn't stop them from asking, though.
Like you can return.
Especially in the area that the Cinema Arts Center is.
I don't
imagine those people get hurt.
How dare you?
People get so mad.
What was the worst movie? Like, what was an encounter from a patron?
All right. Well, when Tree of Life came out, I mean,
Terrence Malick.
You want to talk about, pretty much Tree of Life is like Terrence Malick's last good film. It's like, and then it's like, hey, I take like 7-8 years between films, 14 years, put out a movie. And then all of a sudden, Tree of Life, he's like, all right, I'm going to do 2 a year now. And it's like, what? It's like, it doesn't work for Woody Allen. It's not going to work for you.
Right.
But that movie came out. People kept coming out like, this isn't a movie. It's a National Geographic. Just like stuff like that. I told one customer, like, well, I liked it. And they said, you're on drugs.
You're doing the drugs.
Although my favorite was the movie Greenberg. Noah Baumbach film, Ben Stiller.
That wasn't very good.
I liked it, but I'm a bitter old man who likes movies about bitter old men. And a customer came out of that and was like, this movie was terrible. I want my money back. Only an idiot would like this movie. And I was like, I like this movie. And he goes, you're a fucking idiot.
Oh my God. You know what? With that, I think we should move on because we only have about a minute or 2 left here, guys. But I love that. I wish I was a fly on the wall in that situation.
It was a pretty good moment. I gotta say,
a crowning achievement. All right.
I mean, I guess I set him up for that. So,
so Nick, would you recommend Mayday to others?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, that was a dumb question.
Maybe it's like
better. Nick doesn't finish after. I'm gonna assume he doesn't recommend it.
That's true.
Maybe it gets better in the time after I turned it off.
Maybe it's like a fine wine. It'll get better with age.
You know what? Do a couple hits off a bong, and maybe it'll be good.
maybe it'll help.
Watch it under the influence.
Yes. Matt, would you recommend Mayday?
I mean, I don't want to, like, I mean, I feel bad when I say, like, when I shit on a movie like this.
Right.
Because it's like, I'm an indie house, like, art snob fucking movie guy. So I feel bad when I shit on indie films like this.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like it.
No.
It's like
I said, it's got all the pieces.
Yeah.
They're not connected.
It's like pieces for the wrong. It's like I got a puzzle. It's spaghetti and meatballs, but there's all these pieces that are kittens in it.
It's a Frankenstein of a movie.
I mean, if you like that kind of thing, if you want to see a movie that's kind of weird and like whatever, if that's your bag, baby, go do it.
Do it, baby.
I can't really say that you'll. I don't want to say yes because you won't enjoy it. Then you'll call me an idiot.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn myself. But see it. Don't see it. I mean,
it's up to you, buddy.
Yeah,
choose your own adventure.
I don't know if it's on the radar. It's very faint, but it's on.
Beep.
Yeah,
beep.
There's a blip.
Beep. Oh, it's gone.
Okay.
There it goes.
All right. So Mayday is now out in theaters and is available on demand. So check it out. if you want.
There's not much demand.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. So I just want to do coming attractions for this week. We've got Halloween Kills, the follow-up to the last Halloween, which is a couple years ago, which sort of like reinvigorated the franchise a bit.
Yeah.
So that should be pretty.
A proper sequel to Halloween 2.
Yeah, that would be great on the big screen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We also have The Last Duel, starring Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Jodie Comer from Free Guy, which she's very good, by the way. And Ben Affleck. So that's a drama.
The one looks good. Ridley Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Directed by the great Ridley Scott. I thought he was retired, so I'm really happy.
Never.
So he's back, baby.
Oh, and this one's directed by John Ridley.
John, there you go. That's weird. But this is a Needle in a Haystack. It's a
time stack.
Romance sci-fi. Leslie Odom Jr., Cynthia Erivo's in it.
Oh, he was in the movie we just reviewed.
He was. Very good.
Quite good.
Also, side note, One Night in Miami.
Yes, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we review that together?
We did review that together.
You're always reviewing with me. Next up, Bergman Island, the drama. It's got Tim Roth, Mia Wasikowska, who was in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
There you go.
Next up, we've got an animated adventure comedy called Extinct. Yeah, I would check that out. If it's on TV, I might watch it. But
Reggie Watts and Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong.
Adam Devine, he's actually pretty funny.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Ken Jeong, Zazie Beetz.
Oh, Benedict Wong.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara. That's so as usual.
It's a good cast.
Standard animated film with a great voice cast. So some good ones out there this week. All right, guys. So let's do plugs. Nick, anything going on? Anything you want to talk about?
Cares for Cares, our Halloween party at my Knights of Columbus Council that I am hosting along with my friend Vinny, as well as our Knights of Columbus Council as a whole. Saturday, October 30th, doors will open at 6 o'clock. The party begins at 7. Tickets are $40. Contact me for tickets. It should be a good time. Come in costume. We will have a costume party, a costume contest. There will be food. It will be beer, wine, and soda. If you want liquor, that's extra. Please come. We would love to have you. It benefits the John Thiessen Children's Foundation.
That's all. And I'm not really familiar with the foundation. Can you talk a little bit about what they do?
They usually during the holidays they buy toys as gifts for children with terminal illness. They do things year round. It's a really good organization. I would look it up.
Mr. Roran, anything you want to plug?
Well, there's Pickle Island. That is where my store. We got pickles, music, movies, video games, comic books, etc. There's a chicken dance Elmo in the window hanging out. He's just hanging out, keeping company. So we got that. Also weekends in October, this weekend through Halloween, you can catch me and 2 of my 4 children scaring people up at the Dark Night Halloween Trail in Farmingville, New York. It is a 90s themed horror trail. So it's like a lot of mashups of like clowns and Scream and stuff like that, slashers and whatever, and
parachute pants.
Yeah,
Britney Spears,
chicken dance Elmo.
Yeah.
And so we'll be doing that, and it's in the amphitheater Bald Hill, and that's I believe Friday through Sunday, and then Halloween weekend Thursday through Sunday. I believe it starts at 7 o'clock. So
cool.
You can find out more. Look up Dark Night Halloween Trail. It's online. You can find more information.
Cool. And guys, watching and listening at home and on your devices, I want to thank you for tonight. This was a great episode as usual. If you want to watch more episodes of Under the Radar, you can tune in to Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can also watch on cable TV channels FiOS 34, RCN 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996. Also, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel Under the Radar. And I want to thank my guests tonight, Nick Commando, Matt Roran. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, anytime, guys, anytime. And I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.